YouTube, go live. I said go live, YouTube. There you go.
It's thinking about it.
Broadcast is live.
Good job.
Wow.
Okay, maybe can I read it if I go that small?
I think I just got the notification about it going live.
Yay!
Yes, I did.
See, there's like lots of little like things everywhere too. I'm like trying to. I'll just read it. I'll just be like leaning in, like, what does that comment say? I don't know. If you guys see a comment that's not answered, it's because I can't read them. They're tiny, so you can answer them. Okay. Anyways, we're actually live. Hi.
Hi guys.
It's a party in here, guys. Look, this is the most we've ever had, and maybe we can make it more. I want to have 9. I don't know why.
So you need a fellowship.
Yes, we need to have the fellowship. Okay. And then, wait, can I? Wait, I want to be Samwise because I'm Sam.
I mean, that works.
All right, so we'll go ahead and start with introductions. So we're gonna start with you because this is kind of like,
Left to right. Sure.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Metamateria.
Oh, that's all you're gonna say.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name's Jay. My cosplay stuff is Metamateria. There we go.
I'm Chimera Creation, also known as Carly.
And I am Sam of Thermo Cosplay. You guys know me. And then whoever wants to go next, jump on it.
All right.
Okay.
All
I thought we were gonna play no or something.
right, let's go Deku then. Deku, go. Introduce yourself. Can you hear me?
Who? What? Who are you? Sam, who are you saying?
Can you guys not hear me?
Oh, now we.
Amani.
That was way better.
Amani.
I can't. Am I?
Amani.
That was better.
I don't want to hold it anymore.
Sorry.
Am I going? I thought it was like a nose go game. I would be like, no, not it.
We'll have Amani go next. I'm sorry. I'm not
Okay,
speaking
Amani,
on the
go.
microphone.
That's not how nose goes works. It's supposed to be the other person. Okay. Hi, I'm Cosplay Choco. Yeah, I do cosplay. I mean, so does everyone else here, but
All right, Sparkinson.
Hi, I'm Sean. I'm Sparkinson Cosplay.
And y'all better know Liz, our secret maven of darkness.
Thank you. Yeah, that's me. I'm Ambrose Cosplay, but you guys can see that on the screen.
Okay, so this week, since it is Pride Month, I really wanted to bring in cosplayers, queer cosplayers who have had experience cosplaying at events or separately just kind of relay their experiences. So we're going to go one by one. I'm actually going to go ahead and wait. Whoever raises their hand first gets to start.
Sam, pick someone.
Okay, fine. I'll say someone. I'm sorry. Because this will be hilarious.
That did not work last time.
That is true. I'm going to start with Sean. So, Sean, why don't you talk about what it's like being queer in the cosplay community for you?
Okay. For me, I started cosplaying. Oh my gosh, I don't know, 6 years ago or so. It's been a while. I kind of got roped into it by Liz.
What? What are these lies?
So I had gone to one Phoenix Fan Fusion as Hades, my very first time ever. And I didn't really know anyone, so I kind of just stuck to myself and my tight group of friends. And then Liz, the next year, asked me to compete with her in the masquerade, and I fell in love with it. And as far as my experiences I haven't had a negative experience. Now I don't know if that's because I am so comfortable with who I am that I those negative experiences don't fix me that much. I don't really notice them. But one of the really cool experiences with Phoenix in Arizona was last year at Phoenix Fan Fusion, they introduced the drag extravaganza show, and I got to be the stage production behind the scenes person that made all of that happen. And so it was this really cool experience to take my community into another community that I already really love, being cosplay, and then take this art form that is very similar to cosplay, bring it to light to people who had never seen it before. And so one of the cool things was after the show, there was mini drag performers from Arizona. We had a headliner, but after the show, there was people that came up to me, and I was my gender bent Megra, and we're just thank you so much for making this happen. I had never seen something like this. They opened my eyes to what the community is all about, and was just really open, and I was really nervous about taking it there to begin with because it was so drastically different than the burlesque show that was there, that it was just so drastically different. But it was just like a really cool experience to have that in my home state and be able to be a part of all of that.
Snaps for Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's so exciting. You're excited.
Just
There you go.
I'm trying to find pictures. Just tell them I'm trying to find pictures.
Sam's trying to locate pictures.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Wait. Oh, look at this. There's got to be a
I would
picture
say-
in here somewhere.
But
I saw it.
you're locating pictures. Continue to talk.
While you're locating pictures, do you have another question for someone, Sam? I guess that's a no.
Wait,
Okay.
She found a picture, sorry, so he's pulling it up right now.
Oh.
I love it.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I love that
pretty.
cosplay so much. Love it so much.
But not only because I put it all together myself, like hand dyed everything, I pleated the skirt for the first time ever. Like it was just a lot of time went into it. But then there are little things like my headband was a gift from a friend of mine who is in the Renaissance Festival circuit and gave it to me as a like an extra addition to it. My little medallion by Amber Bright. So like there's just little pieces, and that's one of the cool things I like about the community is it is like we all help each other and we're all here together, and I think that would really translate into what we're talking about right now is that we're all in it together, and without the other doesn't exist.
You're really challenging me to not start singing High School Musical right now.
You're fine. You can sing it. I'll sing it with you.
We're just gonna all sing together now. This is no longer CosTalk Live. It's Musical Live.
Musical live.
There we go. Okay, so next I'm actually gonna go to Cosplay Choco, and why don't you tell us about some experiences that you've had as a queer cosplayer in the Arizona cosplay community?
It's some good and it's some bad, but like let's start with the good news first. So like when I like the Arizona cosplay community, like the cosplay community in general, it helped me like realize like to be able to express who I am. Like it's really nice to be with a bunch of like geeks and misfits and people who like being artistic and stuff, and express that because I don't normally get to express that otherwise. And you know, like through like cosplaying and stuff, you know, I found like characters that were like me in a sense. Like, you know, I found characters like Anthe and characters like Nadia, or like characters with like, you know, queer identities that I could identify with and stuff. And it helped me realize that I was gay. So like, and you know, it's nice being around a bunch of pretty girls to help you realize like, oh, girls are pretty. So yeah, I haven't really, it's just like when I'm in cosplay, I feel like it is the most that I can express myself in, and that's helped me like express my identity. Pretty much it. But oh yeah, the dark side is mostly but it's gonna be a continuous like struggle with is you know, people who take queer identity and then they manipulate it into something else, something that is, you know, to be like fetishized or stuff like that, is something that I've run into, you know, a lot. Like people, you know, there's always the people who don't want to work with me because I'm gay, or the people who specifically want to work with me because I'm gay, and they think that's like something that they should like fetishize and be like, ooh, you should make out with my girlfriend, like stuff like that,
Yeah.
which makes me really miserable.
Cringy.
No,
Or
thank
you
you.
know, it's always you know, people make an issue out of everything. It can get crazy sometimes, but those are like few and far in between cases. Like the cosplay community and the queer community is like interesting enough that, you know, you can go to a con and be decked out in like rainbow and rave gear and nobody like, you know, nobody will care or call you like mean names. Like it's interesting because if I went out, you know, in public and did that, it would be like a different story most of the time.
No, I agree. So, like, I'm only recently out of the closet. I actually had a discussion with my husband explaining how I felt. So, I'm pan, and I've always been pan, but I was always afraid. And I'm married to a cis man, but it still doesn't change how I feel about people. And so, like, I haven't had to experience what other people have because I was so hidden and wore a mask for so long that I decided just stop it. Like, just be yourself. And it's nice to hear such positivity because it makes me a lot less fearful. So I like totally appreciate that. All right, well then you two, you get to relay your experiences now.
Yay! All right. Well, I've been cosplaying. It's actually kind of a funny story, but I'll be quick about it. My friend convinced me to go to my first con in 2011, and I flew out of state to SakuraCon, and was convinced to buy a Kyrie costume, and we entered the masquerade and did like this whole dance number, and it was terrifying.
Stage one, just do it.
And I have not done masquerade since.
Oh come on, I'll bring you.
No, thanks. But so I then did the con scene for a couple years, and then started cosplaying like in 2015, more serious. And then as for like the queer side of it, I've always known that I wasn't really attracted to any gender specifically. I was just like, I find everybody attractive. But I always was like, oh, I'm attracted to the mind. I was one of those kids in high school. Because there wasn't...
We understand.
My school was a bit more conservative. There weren't any... Nobody was out of the closet until after we all graduated. So, I mean, that was in 2006. I'm old. I'm older than a lot of the cosplayers. Don't give me that look. But yeah, so I didn't actually really come out publicly until Phoenix Fan Fusion last year. And that's when we were out as a couple. So,
Yeah, I knew.
Can't hide
being
it.
subtle at that con. And we stopped being subtle at
I think I
that
just
con.
picked up on it the second I met them. I was like, oh.
yeah, we were dating in secret for a while, a long while. Yeah. And then we were just like, you know what? It's who I am, and people are gonna find out anyway. So that's kind of my coming out story, at least. And I've been very lucky to have a bunch of friends in the cosplay community who've all been super supportive. So I actually haven't come across any negative experiences yet. I know it's bound to happen. I've had negative experiences just as a cosplayer in general. So it's...
The fetish thing is real.
Yeah.
Like, you guys know Lena, my cosplay partner? Basically my sister. Like, so everyone knows Lena. There's cosplay, Thermal cosplays 2 people. And if you don't know Lena, just look at my page.
Oh wait, do you mean Thermo Sidekick? I follow her.
Thermo Sidekick. She literally has a page called Thermo Sidekick now. That's what it means.
Oh, no.
But we've been friends since like 4th or 5th grade, and then she literally became a part of my family because she has no family. So like she is my sister. Like she's been going to family gatherings and Christmases and Thanksgivings and everything I can think of, even like family photos since I was in high school. So, and that's been a while. So like it's really weird because like people always think we're a couple, which I'm like, okay, I get it, because we're always together and we hug on each other and we kiss our cheeks and stuff because we're sisters and essentially in all but blood. And some of the things that I've been asked for us to do, I'm like, what?
That's true.
No.
Mhm.
No. Like, even when we have
Yep.
shoots where we're supposed to kiss, we always fake it, and most of the photographers are awesome about it. But once a fan finds out that it's fake, they get mad. And I'm like, she's my sister,
Oh,
I'm not gonna
God.
kiss her. Like, I'm sorry, I don't live in this country where I consider that okay. Maybe it's just me in general. Like, I don't really want to go mouth to mouth with my sibling.
Yeah, no.
Like, I'm sorry. So, like, I can only imagine, like, what fetishes people think of for queer individuals is probably even worse. But yeah, just.
So I've been cosplaying probably since about 2011. My first con was TypeCon. So it took me a while to figure out that I wasn't straight, and then I was like, oh, I'm just a spectrum, probably heteroromantic. Nah, I'm pan. I am pan and non-binary. And it took a while to figure that out. And what's kind of funny is looking back, I would always, when I was cosplaying characters, I'd usually find that the male characters from especially anime shows, I was like, oh, that's a character I identify with. That's a character I can cosplay. And so it's kind of funny that over the years, I've been alternating cosplaying either male characters or female characters, and usually, at that time, cross-playing.
This is why we connect.
And so it's kind of funny because looking back, it's like, oh, my subconscious knew I was non-binary, even if I hadn't realized it at the time. So it's been really fun, just meeting a lot of people, and ever since I first started cosplaying, I've known queer cosplayers, people who are gay, lesbian, trans, you name it, I've met them, and it's been fantastic. And as Carly said, like, we've only been out really publicly for about a year, or year-ish, and so, yeah, a little over a year. And so I haven't run into any problems yet, but I'm sure people who don't understand either, oh, you're queer or you're non-binary, well, what's that? It's like, well,
yeah,
at some point that's gonna happen. And everyone, all of our friends have been super supportive, and learning to use they them pronouns for me and everything. So it's been a really good experience so far, and it's one of the part of what led me to actually start telling friends that I was not just pan but also non-binary was when Rooster Teeth's Genlock cartoon came out. One of the main characters is actually non-binary, and they will it's explicitly stated that in the show that they'll go through periods where they want to present more female or present more male. And so a lot of my friends group was watching that show at that time when it came out, so I could go, hey, that character there, that's me. So it was really fantastic to see a representation of who I am in media.
Mm-hmm. Such a good character too.
Yeah, such a good character.
Yeah.
It's a good show. You should watch it.
Name again.
Genlock.
Read Jen Lock. Hi, microphone. Okay, you guys are used to my antics.
One of those.
Something like that.
Alright, so a lot of the experiences sound really positive. I know that there are negatives. I know that things happen. But what is, like, your favorite convention to go to that you feel is most accepting from a diverse perspective? Let's go and start with you, Cosplay Choco. What's your favorite? Because it feels like everyone is willing to, like, stand up when you face someone who's a jerk. They're willing to defend you. There's just really good diversity. What's your favorite?
My favorite convention, where in terms of that, hands down, would have to be AWA. Not only because, like, I mean, I love Arizona. I love it here. I love the conventions here, obviously, because I still go to them. But when I went to AWA, that was, like, the first time that I went and I saw other cosplayers, other than the 5 that I already know that I see all the time look like me. And I also, like, there was a point at the convention I was dressed up as, like, Bride Agretsuko, and there was this guy that was, like, filming something for his YouTube or whatever, and he was, like, honestly harassing me, and it actually panicked me. That was, like, the first time ever I went to a convention and somebody interrupted him to ask me if I was okay. That was, like, the first time that has ever happened to me.
So
that never happens when I
don't know what AWA is. What is AWA?
Oh, AWA is Anime Weekend Atlanta. like cons on that side of the coast, like they just are different. I don't know what it is, but they're different. And there was definitely a lot of diversity there. And I guess like another one would be like Hallmat. I thought Hallmat was really good. I thought Hallmat was so great.
That's Holiday Matsuri, right? Holiday Matsuri.
Oh, Holiday Matsuri.
It's okay. It's okay. Not everybody
I
knows on a
keep
travel.
using like April.
Yeah.
I'm using like cosplay lingo and con lingo. I can't keep doing that. Yeah, Holiday Matsuri was really good. Especially because they have, I would say, like in terms of conventions, that is like, and like they have the best 18 plus content out of any convention I've ever gone to. If you've ever been to the Hottest Men in Anime show, that one was super good because it's like you see all these guys with different demographics, whether they're gay, straight, bi, like trans or whatever, and they all come in and they put on their like the best show ever. It's like jaw-dropping. And they compete for like charity. It's super great. And then they also have like the regular 18 plus like cosplay fashion show where like, I mean, it's like, it's so difficult being a girl in the cosplay community because, you know, there's always struggles with expressing your femininity or like your sexuality because there's always like, you know, like showing a little skin always comes at a risk. And, you know, at Hallmat, it's like, it kind of like lifts all that up and be like, you can express yourself and you will have like a support around you. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's Anime Week in Atlanta. That one's one that I've been on my list for a while. So has Holiday Matsuri. My list is long. I'm making my way through it. I was supposed to go to a Takuthon in Canada this year, but that didn't happen.
Well, dang, Sam, let us know when we're like leaving so I can pack a bag or something.
Yeah. So you know, when you want to go to Canada, I have an uncle there. You can just crash on the floor.
Do I want to go to Canada? Always.
Yes.
Always.
I will only go in the summer because I'm a lizard.
Cold?
I'm a lizard.
Sam is part lizard person.
Yeah.
Also-
Oh my God. Atsucon.
I don't think I have cosplay. I don't think I own anything that is it's spandex or not a lot of clothes. Oh, I'll wait.
You're like, you'll just go naked and die. It's fine. No, this is why I have a couple warm ones because I do go to like Flagstaff occasionally or Tucson sometimes Tucson Comic Con. It can get really cool at night, and so like I have Kratos, which literally I'm wearing a fur rug. So
John, you do not want to open that door. I will dress you.
She will.
It's too late. I'm already dressing him. And
No.
it's too late.
We're already in the midst of something new. So
I'm already in
Oh,
the planning
yeah.
stages.
Oh,
We're
I
doing
think-
this.
So Amani
Like
brought up
the
something that I wanted to touch on real fast because a lot of the queer content at conventions typically occurs in 18 plus panels, which I always thought was bizarre because there's plenty of queer content that is not 18 plus, and yet conventions always seem to have to put that label on it. Oh, Sean wants to go. Go ahead.
So one of the cool things that happened last year at Phoenix, and I don't know if many people knew it, was there was a panel that I got to be a part of, and it was discussing the history of the LGBTQ plus community in Marvel X-Men universe. And so I don't remember if any of you were there, but like we got to sit there and talk for an hour about the history of X-Men and how it related to us and like how the community, and like I think there was probably like 25, 30 people in the room, which was way more than I anticipated there being. But then one of the cool things on top of that was one of the original writers for X-Men happened to be at Phoenix that year and joined the panel with us. And we just like got to talk and just like express, and like I saw people share how like just seeing that representation in a comic book changed how they view themselves. And like that's like something really powerful. Cosplay Choco, you kind of touched on that, like identifying with a character and finding out that like, oh my gosh, that is who I am, and that is something that I can see in mainstream media that I can identify with. And so like definitely I agree, Sam, there's not quite enough out there, but I do applaud Phoenix for putting themselves out there to do it, which is pretty exciting because I do know it exists at other cons. And so like I'm really excited to see the future of where that goes. So it's not just 18 and up stuff.
I think Phoenix and Salvation are the only ones that I go to that it's not just 18 plus. Like they
Yep.
welcome it, but it's really. I just thought it was one of those weird things because when I went to Emerald City Comic Con, the LGBTQ stuff I would expect not to be 18 plus because you would think that they're a pretty open city, and most of it was, and I was like, this is so weird because I went into one and I'm like, this isn't 18 plus content. I'm so confused.
Like the first thing that came to mind when you said that was like language, because like the queer community really gives zero, what they cut out their mouth, and it's because like they are usually so proud about who they are that they're not really worried about offending someone.
Well, it's more a matter of expression, and you need to be more like you've had to be more aggressive with your expression to defend yourself. So.
Yeah, so I think that's literally the only thing that came to mind about like why it would be 18 up is like the random F-bombs that would probably be dropped by someone hosting a panel. But I think that happens anyways at any panel anyways.
I feel like if it was but Arizonans, I feel like we curse a lot. I've traveled, and I think we just like our cuss words. They're fun.
Very, very colorful.
It's hot. What else is there to do? Like,
yeah. Right? Let's
Bad.
come up with a new curse word, guys.
I really feel like that.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on then. So, Sean, what's your favorite event that you feel is more diverse?
So I think it's a tie for me. So it's a tie between LA Comic-Con, so Los Angeles Comic-Con, and I think that one has a special place in my heart because I was actually invited by a fellow queer cosplayer my first time out there. And so it was like I went myself. I didn't know anyone. I literally just like drove out there, did the thing. Like luckily I at least like Amber Bright happened to be there. I didn't even know, but like I kind of knew someone, and like just was like it was the first time I was ever 100% vulnerable in something by myself because I'd always gone with friends. And I took Cusco, which is huge. It is a fan favorite and everyone loves it, and I get out for photos. It was the first time that I had that experience that Alani was talking about earlier, that like people just like wouldn't leave me alone. And then other cosplayers were like, yo, are you okay? Like, do we need, like, what do you need? And then like, so then I met other fellow people in not only the cosplay community, but the queer community that were like, hey, if you need a safe space, come here. Or like, you're alone. That's not a good idea. Like, let's figure this out kind of thing. But then the other one that obviously jumps to mind is D23. And that one for me was like, I met so many cosplayers that not only like I like followed, but I like idolized. That I was like this very openly queer gay cosplayer in the community that I've like idolized for years and like watched grow and like things like that. I got to meet them in person, and they were just as nice as I expect them to be, and like no one was mean. And like even there was like one that I thought was gonna just be like the rude person in the entire world happened to be like the nicest human and was just like, oh my gosh, how are you? Like, I love your work. And like people just like were like, oh, like they knew who I was, which was like I was like flabbergasted by that. Cause I was like, I was a little baby Arizonan over here. Like, I don't know anything, but it was just like, and it was, there's people that come from all over the world to that. So it was, I met people literally from everywhere that just like were there for the same reasons, expressing themselves, doing things, and selling like beautiful work that everyone just appreciated. There was no like, oh my gosh, that's better, or like, I did it better. It was just like everyone, even like two people doing the exact same thing, appreciated each other's work. And that was really cool.
Yeah, I only went to D23 for the first time last year, and I was overwhelmed by how like accepting everything was, and like Liz was my guide. Liz was like, come with me. I'm
I'm getting blamed for a lot this evening.
You're not getting blamed.
I
You
don't
helped me.
Oh
Feels
my
like
gosh.
a lot.
It's like my dream to go to D23. I like that is like
It is pretty magical.
We gotta do
Oh,
another
yeah.
group. That's if it happens next year, let's go, guys. I am just so
Let's
anyone
do it.
knows I write for a magazine, so I know a lot of people and stalk them secretly because I'm planning who I want to interview. Two, I just stalk people secretly in general because I feel like they're busy. I
Oh.
mean, it's creativity stalking, so I'm learning from them.
But if D23 happens here, I'm already a part of a large queer LGBT group that's putting together a group of, I guess I can't technically say it yet, but like a group of things. And so like that stemmed from previous D23 where I got to meet people and be a part of and like introduce myself. And then like that really speaks to how open that con was, that like I met like the person who's putting it on, I spent maybe 2 days with them throughout the whole thing, maybe a total of 8 hours, and like immediately messaged me and was like, I want you to be a part of this. Your work's great. Let's do all this together. And, like that's the cool comes from the big cons that we go to out of this state.
Yep. So next year, if it happens, I need to stay a week. Is what you're saying? No. Okay. Maybe.
Yes, maybe.
Maybe. I've saved enough money this year that I could do that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to you guys then. What your favorite like cons are? And I'm sorry, this is all warm now.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay.
Just it's
I'll take the mic. I actually have not done that many cons, so it's.
Well, you do
kind of
Star
hard
Wars
to-
events. You want to talk about those or Saber technically?
It's like, yeah, we've done mostly local stuff. I've done a couple of cons out of state, but I obviously was not out at the time. And I think a lot of, for me, I'm gonna say my favorite con is Tucson. I think that the community is great down there, and
Love Tucson.
I love the small con, and I think that was like my first experience meeting a bunch of cosplayers who were in the queer community or in the LGBTQ community. Sorry, I use the word queer
It's
for
actually-
myself.
It's
so.
fine. So if anybody, okay, I'm just gonna real quick. Using queer is good. You want to reclaim that word for the positive, so that people can't use it against you.
Yeah. I know. I usually say LGBTQ, but anyways.
That's a tongue twister.
It is. Yeah. So, I think that was my first experience with meeting cosplayers who were comfortable and out and open, and I've had so many vendors that are like, if you need a safe space, come here, we've got water. If anyone is harassing you, let us know. Like, we even came up with a code word this last year. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so I think that's by far my favorite.
Yeah, I've done mostly local cons. So as Carly said, I think Tucson has been one of my favorites because I liked Phoenix Con the first few years I was going, and then it felt like it started getting bigger and bigger, and I kind of lost touch with some of the people I've been going to with, and so kind of shrank a little bit, and then I started meeting new people. So I've been to like Phoenix Con or Phoenix Con Fusion, FanFest one year, so many names. Was it Game on X? I think I was to Game on Expo once, and I love that. And
Game
then
On was another really good
I
one.
wasn't able to go to it more at other years, but yeah, that 1 year was fun.
It keeps running the same year as my cybersecurity commission.
Oh, that
We heard you.
So yeah, it's been great getting to know people who go to multiple cons a year, especially with the vendors who I'm starting to become friends with and am friends with, because it's like, hey, you're a person I know. You are a safe person I know. I think that's been the biggest thing for me over the years, is just having a buddy system with friends that I'm going there with, checking in with them, knowing when, being able to see, hey, you look uncomfortable, I'm going to start talking to you right now, and try to get you away from the uncomfortable situation kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, that, here, I'm going to take this cool, sorry.
Yeah.
So that leads into our next item for discussion, oddly enough, is
Cool.
talking about like how to be an ally to like new queer cosplayers or existing, and like what advice you would give them. And I think one of them is definitely the buddy system. Like, befriend someone that can be there for you, or find a booth, or find a lot of conventions are starting to have safe rooms.
Yeah.
So figure out where that safe room is and go there. And if someone's bothering you, you can go there and you know there will be a staff member there that you can report to, because it can be hard to find someone to report to. And those safe rooms always have 2 to 3 staff members so they can send a runner. And it's getting more and more prevalent. There are some that don't have it. And that's where it comes to, like, I am a very, like, I'm pretty calm, I'm pretty chill, but when I see someone mistreated, I say something because I don't like it. So that's not easy for everybody to do though. So like, we'll go ahead and Amani, what would you advise somebody who wants to be in a safe space but doesn't know what to do?
I mean, as difficult as it sounds, you have to like be able to like find your own safe space. For a lot of people, you know, like you can't expect a safe space to be provided for you. It sounds really harsh, but like sometimes you can't trust everyone. And I was able to find like my safe space within like the the gay community that I have been able to build around the friends that I've met through cosplay and everything. Especially having a safe word is always important. I've had to use my safe word probably at like every con I've ever been to. And it's also like really important to like find people who are allies that genuinely want to be allies rather than the people who like you can tell like some people are allies because they want like a little badge on their like metaphorical like Girl Scout vest of like look at my gay friend or like look at my black friend, like I'm their ally, like oh my god. Stay away from those people. They're not cash money. But and
They're no
like
money.
Oh my
they're
god.
no,
I want to like put that quote
then
on my
the
profile.
best way you can get
They're not
other
cash
allies,
money.
yeah, the best way you can get allies to help you is to be an ally yourself and to like help other people because those people will help you in return. But,
Yeah, and a lot of these lessons don't only apply to LGBTQ. Like, Black, Indigenous people of color need this just as much. My husband's a man of color, and I always get really frustrated when people say something stupid, or at work when someone says something. I've maybe gotten in trouble a couple times for lashing out. So.
Oh no.
Well, people say things, and it's a
Oh,
microaggression,
were their
and they
feelings
don't realize
hurt?
it. So.
That's so sad.
But it's just one of those things that, like, yeah, everybody's going to have biases, and some of them are ingrained in us from youth, and so we don't realize they're there. But when they're brought up, like admitting you're incorrect, learning how to be correct, and then becoming an ally isn't that difficult. Yeah. It's really not. You just have to be willing to learn and challenge yourself. So, well, what about you, Sean? What advice would you have?
I think what best would be is to locate, like if you're brand new and you're going to a con and you need a safe space and you don't need, locate the guested cosplayers. There's going to be one there that you can find, talk to. Most of them, wherever you are at, are very friendly. There's going to be one that you will find out of the group of them that you can jive with, and you just be honest. Be like, hey, I'm here by myself. If I needed a space, like, do you have an idea of where I could go, or like that kind of thing? And most of them that I know or that I've experienced are going to be like, I'm safe space, my booth is safe space, I know someone who's a safe space, here's what you do, like that kind of thing. Especially if you've never been to where you're going, if you're going alone, or if you're a new cosplayer going to somewhere, or a recently out cosplayer going to somewhere, take a friend with you, someone that you trust. Even if they don't cosplay, even if they're not a part of it, just like being like, hey, I really would like a buddy system with me to go with this. Or I think social media is a great outlet that you can find in your community those cosplayers that identify in the queer community. And personally, like if someone reaches out and asks me a question, I answer. Like I my best to follow up with them, like especially if it's not like some random creeper. But if it's just a legit answer, like question, like asking me advice on something, I will do my best to follow up. And I think most like Arizona cosplayers do their best to do that as well. And I would say most LGBTQ cosplayers that I've come across, even ones from out of the country or from out of state that I've even messaged asking, have been really good at getting back to me and like answering them for me. And it really like either finding your own safe space or figuring out where like, for at one point in time, I get over every con. and it's usually when there's like crowds and hordes of people around me that I'm just like, I can't be here anymore. But I figured that out for myself. So okay, this is happening. What's my exit plan? Where am I going to find a safe space? Where am I going to see? And so like that's where like going to cons over and over again comes in really handy, because then you learn the little niche places that there's literally like 2 or 3 people that you can go and just like stand for a minute, take a breath. Or you learn where the safe rooms are, or some of the newer, like the bigger cons are starting LGBTQ safe rooms on top of safe rooms. Like you can find where those are. And it really is just like paying attention to, like, as silly as the stupid programs are that we all pick up and usually throw away or put aside. Or even like most of them have apps now. Like there's an app specifically for cons that you can find those things. You can find the queer or the safe rooms or anything like that. Just doing a little bit of research before you go into a situation, I think really helps everything. And then wearing something on top of all of that, wearing something you're comfortable in, not something you think you should wear to a con, not something you feel like is what's supposed to be had, or that, like, whatever you are comfortable in and comfortable identifying in, wear it. Because when you have that confidence and like it's gonna exude out of you regardless of like whatever is happening around you, even if it's just a little bit, it's gonna put the things that are gonna put you in that situation, it's gonna put them off just a little bit. That may give you that amount of time that you can find your exit plan, like that kind of thing. Does that make all sense?
Yeah. What about you guys?
Actually,
Oops.
pretty much going to echo Sean, because you took everything I was gonna say. But yeah, check the programming beforehand, because even if there isn't an LGBTQ, you can do a rest zone. I know, like, our local community, I know the Star Wars costuming groups are a safe place to visit, so is the Blue Ribbon Army. Those will be safe places. But yeah, find the cosplay guests and even vendors. I've always, Steam Crow. I've always made friends with a lot of vendors. They're like, oh, if you ever need a break, let me know. And that's one thing I'd like to maybe recommend to people who are vendors is, if you are a safe space, have it somewhere on your banner.
Blackberry Fairy says she is.
Yeah, Blackberry Fairy. We actually spent a lot of time with her at Tucson. We helped out at her booth. But she is a safe space. But yeah, just have banners or that type of thing is also really helpful. But buddy system. Go with a friend.
A rainbow flag. There you go. Just have it right there in the top.
Yeah.
There's also something that I've been thinking about and talking to someone who makes buttons, like little buttons that can be like safe space, that like I've thought about wearing like on my own costume, because like I can take it off for a picture like if I really want to, but also I'm afraid to. And then also ones that say like cosplayer off duty, like please no photos, like those things, because we do get overwhelmed, and you do at the end of the day, like you're hungry. I heard straight up, no, I'm hungry, leave me alone. Like, and it always happens. Sit down to eat, and then someone's like, oh my god, can I get your photo? And you're like, yeah, hold on, give me 10 minutes,
Yeah, people are. I was in Kita for like it was like one of the first conventions I've ever cosplayed to ever, and it was at PFF years ago. And this person like filmed me while I was eating in Kita and didn't stop until like I looked at him and said stop, and then he stopped to take a picture with me instead. It was like the worst thing ever. People are bad. But it was okay, because
Like,
everyone after he left was like, I'm so sorry. It was great, because there was a Jack Sparrow there who was like, that was stupid. And then they made me laugh. So it was okay. It was okay. But I just, like, safe space rooms are, like, so important. If there isn't a safe space room, I found that, like, the cosplay repair room or, like, the cosplay repair section is almost, like, the equivalent of a safe space, because like nobody's there and they usually have a chair to sit down in.
True. Very good point.
Yeah, so echoing a lot of what's already been said, definitely take a buddy. I went to cons, I went to like 4 or 5 cons before I even, with friends, before I even thought about going on my own, and I always knew other people who would also be there. So I just usually ended up kind of floating from friend group to friend group, making sure that they were doing okay, everyone's hydrated. I was always the, have you eaten food? Have you had water? Make sure you take a snack break. Please sit down, for the love of God. Sit. You're in 6-inch heels. Sit. But just making sure you know that just support your friends. Like, just there's a lot of distractions, and it's really, really easy to get kind of overwhelmed. And so just know, again, as Shauna said, look at the programming. Find some panels that you're vaguely interested in, and even if you don't want to actively watch them, know where they are. So if you're tired or if you need to escape from someone, just go, hey, I'm late for this panel, and just book it to the panel. I've used that as an escape from people who are being a little overly friendly. It's just, hey, I'm late for a panel. I need to get to this panel now. And just, bathrooms. Yeah. That's what Thermo just said, is know where the bathrooms are. Just, and talk to cosplay guests. People are super friendly. If someone looks like they're uncomfortable, try just going, hey, I like this part of your costume, and start interacting with them about something that you think is cool about their cosplay, or a detail or something, because people are always happy to talk about what they've made, and creepers usually don't want to talk shop. So if you can interrupt someone who's a creeper and start talking cosplay shop, that's a good way to A, connect with people, make new friends, and B, get someone out of a not good situation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Okay. So we're coming down to basically the last 15 minutes. So if you guys have questions, ask them, and I'm going to lean over weird like this so I can read them, but it's fine.
I can see this.
It's fine. But one thing that we want to kind of talk about is just have an open mind, because people are finally having a voice, and don't stamp that out. It's been too long. Too many people have been oppressed, and the creative community has always been a place where people can explore the expanse of the world, right? What are the boundaries? And push them. So
I think what's crazy about this whole, because obviously there are going to be negative experiences for LGBTQ individuals in the cosplay community, is we're all playing dress up and having fun. This is not meant to be serious at all. So there should not be any sort of negative activity at all. It really should not even happen, because it's supposed to be fun. So those people who do make it negative, they should be blacklisted forever.
Can we just
Plaster it on the internet.
How those people
let
snap
people
pictures
know.
of us? Can we snap pictures of them and put them on a blacklist?
Yes. There should be a cosplay community blacklist,
We're
with
like,
wanted
hey,
posters.
you know what? We're just gonna throw you in this forum, and it's gonna be called the Arizona Creeper Forum. And now you know.
We almost got there though. Sometimes, Arizona cosplay community, I feel is the one community that if something happens, everybody knows about it. Everybody, instantly. All you have to do is tell somebody, and it's all over the place.
We have a tunnel system that's secret, and we all just whisper to each other through those jokes of the tin cans.
Yep.
I swear there's tin cans and wires everywhere.
We gotta go underground.
That's what
It's cooler down there.
Yeah. Can actually do things. Well, I think that's one of the really cool things about the Arizona cosplay community in a whole is we are large. We do have a lot of cosplayers here, but we also all very intermingle. Everyone kind of has their foot in a different group here and there, that they know and they consider friends with. And you find out that one person in that group also knows someone in another group, and all of a sudden you know someone in that group, and it just slowly you get to know at least everyone by their face, or even there are definitely people in the community I could tell you their actual name or what they look like, because they're always in something different, but like there is people like, or like, and the worst, and I'm gonna laugh saying this, the worst is like Spider-Man, Deadpool, like I'm wearing a Spidey suit right now, but like they have masks on, but like I know them, I know who they are, like I can talk to them, but like I've never seen their actual face because they don't post it on their Instagram or like anything like that. But we are such a diverse community as a whole. Being in Arizona is really cool, and know everyone, and then that situation that's creepy, like people are aware. And I think one of the cool things about here is when something like that happens, people are aware. 90% of the time, the cosplay community believes the person who's telling them that. There's no like, oh, that person, that wouldn't do that. It's like oh, thank you for sharing that information with me. Like, now I can know what's going on, like actually going on kind of thing, which I think is really cool. And I don't think that happens very often, which is sad, but
yeah.
And
'tis life.
Most of us hold that person accountable too. Like the next time we see them, we're like, hey, why did this happen? What happened?
Yeah.
Were you drunk? And if you were drunk, you need to have a friggin' buddy.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
can wrangle
Yeah.
you in. Like, there's just so many things because people definitely, there are people who definitely make excuses for their behavior and stuff happens and we all mess up sometimes, but if it's a pattern of behavior, it's more than just a mess up. So
Yeah.
it's nice that we all kind of, like, it's odd, it's like we have calendars in our heads in Arizona. We're like, oh, on this date, this person did this and they did this, so they suck. But no, obviously all the people on this channel, we are safe spaces. So if you are a queer cosplayer, or even if you're just in the LGBT community, LGBTQ, gosh, why is the Q always hard for me? Or if you're a Black Indigenous person of color, or if you're just someone who needs to escape, like,
Find us.
Find me by my voice, because apparently people don't recognize me. I'm one of those cosplayers that Sean said, I don't know who they are until I speak.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's fair.
I don't know. I'm like, how can you, I'm pale. I'm like really
No.
pale.
One time I saw you in like literally like wasn't our Arcana cosplay? I didn't recognize who you were.
Yeah, I was Azra.
so
I was Azra.
yeah, and I was like looking at you, and I wanted to compliment you, and I was like, I don't know them, but what did I do?
You were doing you were Korra, weren't you? Or you know Katara? Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what? See, I didn't recognize you then either.
See, well, it's okay. Liz hasn't recognized me.
Oh my god, if you listen to Raw story one more time, I swear.
You know what? No, it's okay, because I'm sure that at some
I
point
also
I haven't
had my not
recognized you.
recognizing Sam moment.
You're
The
not
story's
alone.
been told on every episode so far.
Because it's funny.
So, for the 11th time. But yes, Sam is a chameleon. She really blends into whatever character she's doing. So.
I take it maybe a little too seriously. I'm like, no.
But like, it goes
no
for
identity.
everybody
I am
though.
this person.
Like, no matter who you are, if you do need a safe space, like obviously everybody on this channel is a safe space. It doesn't matter what you're dressed as. Like, creeper's gonna creep.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know there was a guy, I was dressed as Alice from Alice in Wonderland, like a literal child, and there was a guy who like wouldn't leave me alone, like wanted to ask me on a date, and I was like, no.
Yo, I was
I was
Deku.
Like, how about no? Like, it
dressed
does
up
not
as
matter what you're
literal
dressed
Deku.
as.
And
Like,
this
it'll happen.
grown man, I was really dressed as a like middle school child. I happened to have bunny ears on because I don't know. It was like late. Everyone's dressed up in whatever they want to put on themselves at that point. You know, it's like 9 p.m. And I was in line to buy a drink, and this like dead stop. He came up to me and was like, "It's rabbit season," and I lost it. I just lost it. I was like, "Who do you think you are?" And he didn't even know who I was dressed up as. He did not know. He thought I was Cowboy Bebop or something, and it was like the weirdest interaction I've ever had with the person at all, because I had to like, normally I would book it out of there as quick as possible, but I had to take a moment to stop and be like, what was the strategy?
Like, sir, it is not Looney Tunes. This is not acceptable.
This is not acceptable.
I mean,
It was so-
and not only conventions, like even if you're not at another event and you know there's other cosplayers or other customers or people at events, like I went to the Renaissance Fair and an elderly couple came up and grabbed my boobs. I was wearing armor. I didn't know them. Never met them in my life. They just came up, thought the armor was interesting, and put their hands on me. And I was like, what?
Like, can you not?
What? So, wherever you go in costume, just know your safe space. So,
People get weird when you put on a costume.
yeah. So, did we
They
have
get
any
so
questions?
weird.
Like you're a human. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so we don't have any questions that I can see unless I'm missing them. If I am, I will answer them later, and I'm sorry. But I'm going to go through, and we're once again going to start with Jay, and we're going to say who they are and where you can find them, and why you need to be awesome and follow them. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jay. I'm Metamateria on both Facebook and Instagram, and I make cosplay stuff, and I occasionally take pictures of food I make.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, we were supposed to be taking a break from cons this year, and I did not intend for that to be the universe has to take breaks from cons this year.
It's all your fault.
But apparently. So I'm Carly. I'm Chimera Creation. It's also on Facebook and Instagram. I'm really bad at updating, but I'm trying to be better.
I'll get her to start taking more photos of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will take more photos, I promise. I am working on new Star Wars stuff, so there'll be something hopefully in a couple months at least.
Oh my god. Sorry.
All right, Cosplay Choco, how can we find you?
Dog.
You can find me. Cosplay Choco is like my tag everywhere. I do not change it. There's a dog.
Sorry!
Sorry, the dog broke in.
I'm on
happening.
TikTok.
Oh, I love her.
I'm on Instagram, and rumor has it that I have a Twitter, but like I have 2 photos on there. So like you can follow me. I sew a lot. I love sewing like so much. You'll at 3 a.m. at some point you're gonna be like, guys, I have an idea, and then you're just gonna see me make a whole thing. I'm also like super outspoken, so if you're like looking for someone who like doesn't talk a lot about issues, like next. But yeah.
Thank you very much. All right, Sean, your turn.
All right, so I'm Sparkinson Cosplay on Instagram, Facebook. I do also have Twitter, but it only gets updated when I click the little toggle from Instagram. So like, probably don't follow that one. I do also have a TikTok, but I'm not good at that TikTok thing. But I do my best. So my goal this year was to do one new costume cosplay photo shoot every single month. And like I've been doing it so far, like up to date. And like the weird thing of the crazy world, the coronavirus that we are in right now, is I've been more creative and more cosplays have been produced this year than any other year. I've just been like, I don't have anything to do. I'm gonna take photos. Let's make something. Like, done. It's made. And it's like, okay, why when I have to go somewhere does it take me 3 months to do it instead of one day?
Same, except I haven't improved at all. So.
Yeah. But I also do my best to post where I personally am at. So I think if you follow my Instagram, it's not just like a, hey, here I am as Spider-Man. Like, it'll be like, here's a quote from Spider-Man. Here's how it like affected me, or like what I take from it personally. Because I kind of like to remind people that I am a real person outside of whatever cosplay I'm wearing. And I also am pretty outspoken as well. So like I am not one to sit back and be quiet. And very like, hey, this is happening and this is how I feel about it. And if you don't want to be a part of that, then that's your decision. But it's just, yeah, I don't know. I'm terrible at like doing updates as far as like I have this thing where I'm like, I'm going to update like as I'm making something, take photos, it's going to be great. And step 1, step 12, and I'm like, well, can't tell you next. But it's just like, I don't know. And I really like, one of the cool things I like to do is collab with other people. Like Liz and I are working on something right now. I'm working on something with other players. Like, I just like, I like the idea of sharing art together. So if like you want to do that, hit me up. to that. Always open to that. If you want to just dress me, I'm also open to like, oh, just rip at it.
This is true. I mean, I've painted him. It's probably gonna happen again at some point. All right. So Liz, it's your turn.
So I'm Liz from Ambrose Cosplay. You guys can find me on Facebook under this name and Instagram and TikTok, Ambrose_cosplay. Don't bother looking at my Twitter. I don't ever tweet anything. It just sort of exists.
So, for Twitter, I am Sam of Thermo Cosplay, and you can find me everywhere but TikTok now. And I do post on Twitter, but that's just because I use a program that schedules things months out, so I'm crazy, and I post everywhere, except for TikTok because I just discovered a reverse algorithm that I don't approve of, and because I'm security-minded, I'm sorry, TikTok, goodbye. I also have, I can't have it on my phone because I do my work on my phone, and so, yeah, I had to abandon TikTok, but I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Instructables, my own website, I'm even on www.cosplaysupplies.com because I've done work for them.
Yay!
And the cosplay
Get
Bros,
paid, Sam.
a few more. Yeah, kinda.
See, Sam is very cash money.
Yeah, it's very.
She's cash money. I feel like Cosplay Choco should have the cash money seal of approval, and she can decide who's cash money and who's not.
Absolutely.
All right.
I do. I have a whole list.
I feel like custom stickers
Nice.
should be
Okay,
made.
so we gotta find this list. Okay, so anyways, from all of us here, thank you for joining our stream today. Thank you very much for listening. And if you want more information about the individuals on this stream, please feel free to message CosTalk Live. And we'll see you next week. Next week, we are actually going to be doing a creative stream. So people are going to be in this room, and we're going to be crafting. Hopefully successfully. I don't know. But we're going to be
never
crafting.
know what's crafting.
We'll see what happens. All right, night, everybody. Thank you very much for joining our stream, and we're just going to sign out now.
All right.